Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have another sunscreen video, and it's almost like a tradition at this point that every summer I will make a sunscreen review video. If you watched my skincare haul that I uploaded last week, then you know that I bought a bunch of skincare, and in that it includes a bunch of sunscreen. I noticed a bunch of Korean sunscreen that just launched have this one similar point, and that is they have mini cooling capsule in the sunscreen to calm down your skin temperature. For instance, they would have something like this on their packaging to show you that the sunscreen will reduce your heat emission. Since summer is coming up, I thought, why don't I test these out to let you know if they are worth it. The three sunscreen I have here are very popular in Olive Young in Korea. First sunscreen I have here is the Cell Fusion C Aquatica Cooling Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA++++ moisture. The second sunscreen I have is the Beplain Mung Bean Cooling Moisture Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA++++. The last sunscreen has the prettiest packaging ever. This is the Round Lab Camellia Deep Collagen Firming Sun Serum. I'm gonna test all three of these on separate days and reapply the sunscreen to fully let you know what I think of it, how it looks on my skin, how it feels on my skin, and give you the final rating. So let's get testing! The first sunscreen I have here is the Beplain Mung Bean Cooling Moisture Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA++++. They have a bunch of advertisement here, but look at what they claim. They claim that this will decrease your temperature by 10.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, before you come at me, I don't know why I thought it would decrease your temperature. I only realized this later on that it actually meant to reduce your heat emission by 10 degrees Celsius. So please bear with me. This is what the bottle looks like. It's so cute. It is like so small and compact, and this is 50 ml. First off, I'm gonna scan the temperature of my skin. Right now I'm at 97.1 degree Fahrenheit. I actually feel a little bit of tingling around like this area because I apply some around my lip but not on my lips, and so I guess it's starting to feel like you have on a plumping lip balm, but like for your face. It's not as extreme as a plumping lip balm, but it's like a little tingling, which is probably the cooling effect. Now let's test my skin temperature. 97! I don't think I put enough around my eyes because I want to see if it stings my eyes. Put some on my eyelid. No immediate stinging, so that's good. But first impression on the feeling and the texture of this formula, I love it. It feels so moisturized. It doesn't have any crazy scent. Like, not at all. Like, there's no scent. It's as if I'm just applying a regular moisturizer. Just based off of first impression, this might be my next favorite sunscreen. Wow. You can almost feel the tingling immediately as you put it on. So right now I'm feeling it around my eyes, but it doesn't last long. It probably lasts around 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then it just goes away. It just feels like a moisturizer, and I think it brightened up my skin complexion a little bit. No greasiness. It feels so nice on my skin. This might be my next favorite sunscreen. But anyways, I'm gonna check back in a few hours and reapply and let you know my final thought on this Beplain Mung Bean Cooling Moisture Sunscreen. I'm back after 5 hours, and I know you're technically supposed to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours, but because I stay indoor for almost the entire time, it almost isn't necessarily to reapply sunscreen, but I just want to do it for this video. This is how my skin looks like after a few hours of wearing it. It doesn't have any greasiness. It doesn't create more oil to my skin, and I have combo to oily skin, but this just feels so mattifying on my face. But I'm gonna go ahead and reapply the sunscreen. Now that I've reapplied the sunscreen and have worn it for the past few hours, what is my thought on the Beplain Mung Bean Cooling Moisture Sunscreen? I'm gonna rate all the sunscreen based off of 4 categories: how it looks on my skin, how it feels on my skin, does it smell, and does it sting my eye. First off is how it looks on my skin, and it looks absolutely beautiful. As you can see, it just glides on my skin so evenly and so well. There are no white casts. Also didn't expect it to leave any white casts because it is a chemical sunscreen, but as you know, there are some chemical sunscreen that still leave a little bit of a white cast. However, this one leaves no white cast and it looks so pretty on my face. I have very visible red scarring on my face from post-acne, and I do feel like after I apply it, it does reduce the appearance of the redness. It advertised the sunscreen to be reducing the appearance of redness by up to 21%, and I do think that is pretty effective. How it looks on my skin, a 10 out of 10. Second category is how it feels on my skin. I have no complaint about that because it feels like I am not even wearing a sunscreen. That is the biggest compliment when you are describing a sunscreen, is that I don't even feel like I apply on any sunscreen because it feels like a moisturizer. It feels so lightweight, it's almost airy, and there's no stickiness, no tackiness. So that just means it absorbs really well onto my skin, like deep down penetrate into the skin. Usually sunscreen leave a little bit of oily or greasiness, but this doesn't even have any of those, and even my face feel matte after wearing the sunscreen for a couple of hours. Even after reapplying it, it doesn't feel any tackiness, it just feels moisturized. I do want to talk about their cooling benefit because I don't think using a thermometer is the best way to measure this, because it would be quite concerning to all of a sudden have your temperature to be like 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be like, you need to go to a doctor. I think you have to use a thermal camera to accurately know if that claim is true, but I don't have that camera, and so I'm not gonna like verify if the claim is true. However, for the cooling factor, it does feels really nice on the skin. It has this tingling as if you're rubbing ice on your face, but it doesn't last throughout the time you're wearing it. It almost gives your skin an immediate but very temporarily cooling effect. So if your skin feels burnt or heated, then you might want to put it on so that your skin feels a little breather and a little bit less stressed. However, you might want to have to reapply it more frequently to actually get that benefit. But overall, how it feels on my skin, a 10 out of 10. Third category is, does it smell? And like I said before, it does not smell at all, okay? Like it doesn't even smell like typical sunscreen. Like there's nothing, it doesn't smell like anything. Oh my gosh, a 10 out of 10. Fourth category is, does it sting my eyes? Like I said, it doesn't sting my eyes. I am so sensitive to sunscreen stinging my eyes, and that's probably the #1 criteria of me looking for a sunscreen, is that does it sting my eyes? Because I love to apply sunscreen on my eyelid. I literally apply separately onto my eyelid and it does not burn, and I'm wearing contact. My eye is so sensitive and it doesn't even sting my eyes whatsoever. Really a 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh, this is like the first sunscreen that perfectly hit all of the categories. Like what? This is a 10 out of 10. Can I even say that it's like the first sunscreen of this video and I'm falling head over heel over this sunscreen? Beplain, please tell me what you put in this sunscreen to get it to be so wonderful. I truly am amazed at this sunscreen. So I need to stop fangirling because we have 2 other sunscreen to test out. Hey guys, second day, second sunscreen. Today I have the Cell Fusion C Aquatica Cooling Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA++++ broad spectrum moisture. If you've never heard of Cell Fusion, they have one other sunscreen that is viral, that is so popular in Korea because it is one of the only sunscreen that dermatologists recommend for their clients after treatment. However, this one is one of their newest launch, and it is a cooling sunscreen. It's said to have plant-based PDRN to replenish skin with hydration, and also has some chlorella extract and green relief complex to soothe inflamed skin, but also uses 3 different plant-derived extracts: apple mint leaf, thyme leaf, and green tea leaf to cool down your skin. And as you see from the first sunscreen, I'm not going to use a thermometer to check the temperature. That was a really not accurate way to measure things. This bottle is smaller than the average sunscreen, like let's say the Beplain from yesterday. This is 50 mils and compared to this is only 35 mils. I do believe they have a larger size, however this was like a promotion, so they had a 1+1 and a bunch of sample. But I'm excited to see how this applied to my skin. From first impression, this has an immediate cooling sensation, but it's not as tingling as the Beplain. I would say the Beplain feels as though you're rubbing ice on your face, but this feels as though I'm sitting directly from an AC and it's just cool air blowing on my face. And this sunscreen has kind of like a cucumber scent. It also doesn't sting my eyes, which is great, but it sits really well on my skin. It doesn't feel heavy at all. But so far, this applied on my skin really well. I'm gonna let it sit for a few hours and come back to reapply and let you know my final thought of this sunscreen. Hey guys, so I'm back after a few hours and this is what my face looks like. I don't know if it's just these kind of sunscreen that don't have a lot of oil, because my face don't feel greasy at all or like any sebum, and usually that would happen after like 1 to 2 hours if I use an American sunscreen, but this one, it's been like 5 hours. And look at this, my face feel and look so mattifying. Let's apply a second layer on my face. Now that I applied the second layer, it's time to give it a rating. First category is how it looks on my skin, and it looks fantastic. As you can see, when I apply it on, it blends out beautifully, so easily, like effortlessly, and also there's no white cast. Because this is a chemical formula, I didn't really expect to have any white cast, but because their other, like the most popular sunscreen in this brand is a mineral sunscreen and it has crazy white cast, I was kind of iffy about that. However, this one literally does not show any white cast at all. On the other hand, I feel like this formula doesn't really do anything to reduce the appearance of my red scars. So with that, for how it looks on my skin, I would give this a 9 out of 10. Second category is how it feels on my skin, and it feels so lightweight that I don't even think that I'm wearing a sunscreen. I feel like because it is like a gel silicone texture, it has this grittiness on my second application. It doesn't feel that nice on my hand, but on the face, it doesn't have any weird residue. Since I have dehydrated skin, I feel like because of the gel silicone texture, it doesn't feel like it adds any moisturization to my skin. Cooling ingredient also dissipate after a few minutes, like 2 to 3 minutes top, and so when you first apply it, it feels as though you're sitting next to a fan and has this like cool whip of air blowing at your face, but it doesn't last long. It doesn't really feel like it does anything while you're wearing it, so maybe you do have to reapply it consistently, like even more than the Beplain, but at least the Beplain gives you this tingling sensation. This does not give you that feeling. For how it feels on my face, I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. Third category is does it smell, and like I said before, it smells like cucumber or celery, any vegetable that is heavily like water based. I don't know why it just smells like that. Not overwhelming or bothering me at all. The scent does not last long. When you apply it on your skin, it's gone. Like you can't even smell it anymore. So because of that, I would give the scent category a 9 out of 10. Fourth category is does it sting my eyes, and it did not sting my eyes whatsoever. Applies so nicely on my eyelid, and it did not give me any irritation on my eyes, so a 10 out of 10. Combining all the ratings in the 4 categories, I am giving this Cell Fusion C Aquatica Cooling Sunscreen SPF 50 plus PA plus moisture a 8 out of 10 stars. This is a great sunscreen for those who have extreme oily skin and your skin does not need any moisturization. You just need a protective sunscreen that applies well on your face that you feel nothing of. I would highly recommend this sunscreen. Good morning! So the next and last sunscreen that I have here is the Round Lab Camellia Deep Collagen Firming Sun Serum. And if you have ever been on sunscreen TikTok, then you know about Round Lab sunscreen. They went viral for their birch juice sunscreen, which I also review on my channel. That sunscreen wasn't particularly my favorite, but I know that a lot of people love it. And then I saw they came out with this sunscreen, which is packaged in pink. Like, if any brand wants to get my money, they can easily put everything in a pink packaging and I'll probably spend my money on it. This sun serum is advertised as having a UV aging barrier, which is a lot of collagen ingredients. So it has micro cooling capsule. And then the main point is the Camellia collagenol, which increase the collagen and elasticity of your skin. Last but not least, help you have this natural glow for the summer. Personally, I love this packaging because the bottle is so slim and the tip is pointy and tiny, so it gives you a precise application. Ooh. It is more liquidy than the other sunscreen. First impression, this has a slight like rosy flower scent, but it's not like up in your nose. It's honestly, I can smell it because I am smelling up my hands like this close. Other than that, I don't smell anything. And it's so easy to blend it. As you can see, it's so liquidy because I am thinking that's why they market it as a sun serum instead of a sunscreen, which gives it more like a skincare ingredients. And the other two sunscreen at least gave me like 1 to 2 minutes of feeling like there's something that cooled down my face. This one didn't do that. That's my first impression of this sunscreen. I'm gonna check back with you in a few hours and let you know my final thought. Hey guys, so it's been a few hours since I first applied the Round Lab sunscreen and my skin looks very, very natural. It does not have any greasiness or heavy sunscreen residue. It feels almost as if I'm not even wearing sunscreen. I almost feel like there is a gloss over my skin because it looks so smooth. I'm just gonna go ahead and reapply the sunscreen. Look at how liquidy the formula is. It literally just dripped as soon as I pour it on my face. Now that I have the second layer on, let's do a final ranking of the Round Lab Camellia Deep Collagen Firming Sun Serum. First category is how it looks on my skin, and it looks almost non-existent. It's like it's not even a sunscreen. As I pour it on my face, it's very liquidy and it absorbs almost instantly, and so there isn't a lot of residue. There is no heavy white cast. Kind of look like to have a pink hue. However, that doesn't transfer any color onto your face. Even so, it sits on my face so flawlessly. Like, it looks to be smoothing out my skin texture so well. And I just love how it looks on my skin. First category, a 10 out of 10. Second category is how it feels on my skin, and as you guessed it, it feels amazing. I literally don't believe that I have on any sun protection, UV protection on my face because of how lightweight this feels. Even on the second application, I don't feel any heaviness. It just feels like my skin got a very moisturized serum, and that's about it. And it feels just, oh, it makes me love sunscreen even more. This is amazing. The only thing I want to point out is their cooling benefits that they claim. I don't feel like it did any cooling to my skin. So because this video is all about sunscreen that will cool your skin, and they did claim that in the packaging, so I will give this category a 9 out of 10. Third category is does it smell? And it smells almost florally, but it's not up in your face like here is the scent. It doesn't have like that strong of a scent. Literally the lightest fragrance. Like, ever. You will not even notice it if you're not smelling up close to your hands. It does have a very pleasant scent and it goes away as soon as you apply it on your skin, so you can't even smell it. But I do understand if you are bothered by fragrance. For me personally, I don't, and I actually really love the scent. This is probably the best like floral sunscreen scent that I have ever smelled. So I will still give this a 10 out of 10 for that category. Okay, you know what? I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10 just because it has a slight hint of fragrance. Fourth category, it doesn't sting my eyes, and it did not sting my eye at all. It did not irritate my eyes. It literally just feels nothing on my eyelid. And I don't know what's with all these Korean sunscreen. It's just the bomb at not stinging my eyes. I can literally give up a bunch of sunscreen that looks beautiful on my face, but as soon as it stings my eyes, I will literally throw it away. But this did not, and it is so beautiful and it's flawless. So that category is also a 10 out of 10. Now the final rating of this sunscreen after combining all the different categories, it is a 9.5 out of 10. I love the sunscreen. Honestly, I will continue to use this, but I am slightly worried that it might not be as protective, as they named this as sun serum and not a sunscreen. And just given how lightweight the formula is, it almost doesn't give me enough trust to be wearing this alone if I know I'm going to be out under the sun all day. Maybe I'll use this as like a base sunscreen, like the first sunscreen that I apply, and then go over it with a second layer of another sunscreen that is heavier and thicker to get like a full protection from the UV ray. But overall, I love this sunscreen and highly recommend it. I will for sure buy this again once I run out. So I hope you guys enjoy seeing my first impression of these sunscreens. And to be honest, I feel like Korean sunscreen just keep getting better and better because it's very rare for me to test out a bunch of sunscreen that don't even sting my eyes, and I have very sensitive eyes. And also they just feel so lightweight as if I'm not wearing any sunscreen. So I fear that all of the points that I deducted from each of the sunscreen is because I was extremely nitpicky, since they're just so good. I do want to mention is that a lot of Korean sunscreen, actually majority like these three, are not waterproof. So when you are going to swim or to the beach or anywhere that you feel like you need sunscreen to stay on, this probably wouldn't be the best. It's more on the cosmetic purposes of wearing sunscreen and then layer on makeup and then you go on with your day. But if you're doing more like activity wise, I fear that these might not be the most appropriate sunscreen to wear for those occasions. Other than that, I hope this video is helpful and brought you some insights on these new Korean sunscreen that just launched. And also, if you've tried them, let me know which one's your favorite. Or if you have any other Korean sunscreen recommendations, I'm very much open to try new ones. So enjoy your summer and make sure to put on sunscreen. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!